Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Guile here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. Now, something will immediately become evident, I'm sure, that everything seems a little bit different. Maybe my voice seems a bit different. Maybe the picture seems a little bit different. Well, that is because Windows 10 did me a favor about a week and a half ago, maybe a bit longer, and updated and broke XSplit. People at XSplit trying to fix the issue, but obviously that doesn't help us right now. So I reached out to my friendly Facebook community, and they said, well, try OBS, guys. Guile, try OBS. That's the free open source software. It's great. Everyone raves about it. It was pretty unanimous, actually, everyone was saying. So I've tried it, and it's pretty good. It's not bad. I'm still figuring it out. It won't be exactly the same, I'm sure, but if the levels are a bit off or the picture isn't quite as good or something's on, that's why. So please bear with me. And I just realised I forgot to add the little the scrolling title bar. It's not scrolling because we don't have that function. It looks a little bit more basic. Boom. There we go. Isn't that wonderful? Nice little bit. No, not so much. Well, there you go. I mean, it's something. It gives you an idea. It should read ladder match as well, but it's hard to fit a whole lot in when it's not scrolling. So that's what we've got on the cards today. The intro video will undoubtedly stop, guys, because there's actually quite a lot of information I need to bring to you at the beginning of this one. I should have brought it to you a while ago. Speed 2's been on the phone, well, not literally because he doesn't have my number, thank God, but he's contacted me through FAF. And yeah, there's lots of stuff that's happened in between all of my little breaks that have been going on. So Visionik, the benevolent ruler of FAF, he left basically a while back. I'm not sure about the circumstances. I did have my thoughts that he would ultimately not last forever, because it's a pretty thankless job being at the top of FAF, as Zep would tell you. So now it's more of a kind of a council setup. What does that mean? Well, it has some implications for me, which I'll go into at some point. I'm not going to do that today. But it does have implications, of course, for FAF, because he was the chap who was kind of sponsoring it all. So it now goes back to a kind of donation scheme. So FAF, the people, the gods that be, the powerful council at the top of Settons, have set up a Patreon account. I'll put the link to that in the description below this video. If it's not there, you know what to do, guys. You just yell at me and I'll make it so. Next up, Zoc is now changing out as lead balance counsellor. He will no longer be the lead. The new lead is Jagged Appliance. There goes the intro, so it must sound very strange now without that nice background hum that cancels out the hiss on my microphone. So yeah, new balance counsellor. And he will be, well, he's already taken over as far as I'm aware. I'm just going through a readme file. Speed 2 is so rude to me in this conversation, because basically he's like, taking notes this time? Yes, thank you, I am, because I've got it wrong so many times before. They're also looking for new mods, guys, which surprises me, because every time I've logged in, there's been thousands of them. But that's because I'm in an EU time zone, so they're really looking for mods that are in non-EU time zones. I'm guessing the Antipodean side of things on the other side of the planet's a little bit quiet. So if you feel like it, apply through the forums. I'll also put a link in the description below the video to that as well. Again, if I haven't done it, just yell at me and I will make it so, all Picard style. And there's also a spot open for promotion counsellor. Lots of people saying that I should go for that, and quite frankly, there aren't enough hours in the day, but one can dream. Maybe one day I'll win the lottery and I could get on something like that. But yeah, that spot's open to a young go-getter who's probably at university and not doing any work at all, and has that kind of quantity of free time that's required. Just kind of, you know, updating Facebook and YouTube and stuff like that, all that kind of thing, that will help promote FAF. So there, and somebody who can help coordinate all the casters as well, because I think that's something that's definitely needed. So there we go. I think that will appease the great Speed 2 god. Maybe. We shall wait and see. Anyway, so it's going to be a ladder match today. It's going to be pro level, and it's going to go down on Bermuda Locket. I'm ready, and you guys are ready, and as sure as hell sure the players are ready, because this was played ages ago. I meant to bring this to you a while ago. So let's go on over to the game zone and see how these guys are going to get on. So I'm hoping this actually is coming across okay, but we won't really know. I mean, I've done a few tests, but it's hard to tell until you upload to YouTube really what the final result's going to be. So say it's a ladder match. We've got the top blue player at the top of the map there on our left screen, and the red on the right. It's Turinturamber for Aeon up at the top. He's going first land, and Dark Ripper for Cybrin going first land, second air. In fact, they're both going first land, second air. What have we got in terms of PGens? How are we doing actually on mass on this map? I can't actually remember. Well, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the immediate vicinity. So, and lots of mass to reclaim, of course. So, I mean, it's not a huge quantity, but certainly enough space between you and our enemy to go a bit power gen happy, which is, I guess, what these guys are doing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 T1 PGens in the opening startup there for Turinturamber, and he is literally following that with his ACU, and then he's going to go on to the air factory. But you contrast that with Dark Ripper, who's just going T1 PGen all day. Thank you very much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 12, and then 15 PGens, because why not? I'm not sure what order they're in when he so he's going to get about 10 PGens, it looks like, online, and then transition to the construction of the, actually it might be 9, I think it's 9 PGens, and then get the air factory online. You can see obligatory early engineers already scooping up that mass, and we can look on the radar there, a Molnar Hunter out for Dark Ripper. I should have done a little bit of research into Dark Ripper before this, because I don't really recognize that, but he's 1814, so he's obviously been around for a while. So answer in the comment section below, guys, if you know who that guy is, if he's going by another name, or he's just one of these next generation chappies who've worked their way up to top pro level, or almost top pro level. I guess if you're over 2000, that's probably a fair representation. Both these guys spitting out scout planes at around the same time, so more or less identical rates there. Again, guys, I'm permanently ill, as you're well aware, so if I still sound like I'm talking to you from the bottom of a bath of soup, that is why. It's because I had kids, and 15 years from now I'll go a month without getting a cold. Looking forward to it. Little bit of an entanglement through the first couple of interceptors, and Dark Ripper actually going straight out over here, concerned about the potential drop. Spotted it with the scout plane, and that chariot being airlifted over is going to get snagged. The question is, will Turinturamber be able to shoot those inties down before the transport gets shot down? In comes a third intie in there as well. Dark Ripper doing his best to deal with this into the red. This could be very costly indeed for Turinturamber if he loses all of these engineers. Down to 44 hit points. The chariot gets shot down. He drops off all of the engineers. They all make successful splashdown, albeit most of them badly damaged, but then the chariot falls on top. That is a glorious opening to this one. Entertaining stuff. He's going to try ahead and get a distance build here on the cliff edge. But in comes the lab that was waiting. We saw that early mole and lab going up both sides of the Bermuda Locket to cut off early engineers or early drops. So we've got a drop over here from Dark Ripper, who's making a play for the eastern edge of the Locket. And a T1 bomber out from Turinturamber, who's going after the engineers who are setting up down here. But we've got 2 batches of engineers on this. I suppose it's a kind of a leaf of the Locket here. And these guys up here, the other engineers, just going land factory all day, trying to secure that ASAP. Is he going to be able to complete that land factory? I suggest humbly not, as a bomber comes in and wipes that out. So that is a very costly opening run for Turinturamber there. Just trying to get his engineers set up on that western leaf. Meanwhile, interceptors tangle over here once again. So I'm going to go with a much more successful start here for Dark Ripper, who's also ahead significantly on Eco, 23 to 15 inside the first 6 minutes of this one. ACU for Dark Ripper just expanding left on his starting leaf down here, picking up the other core mass over there. Turinturamber conversely staying in the base, keeping the build capacity there and working on more manufacturing facilities. Of course, Curse the Commentator comes in and he promptly leaves as soon as I say that. Rolling out now southwards towards that western leaf, and another drop, very ill-advised indeed from Turinturamber. One wonders about how well he scouted that beforehand. Quick reclaiming war going on. Sky Slammers toggled to ground fire. Not everybody knows that the Cybran mobile T1 anti-air can do that. Very helpful indeed. Dark Ripper loses an engineer or two, but Turinturamber loses about 5 or 6, and I'm guessing the transport's still alive over here, albeit badly damaged. Turinturamber having a shocker, an absolute shocker at the start of this one. All going very well indeed for the Cybran, which is generally not great cause for celebration here on Guilecast, but we'll take what we can get when the plays are as sublime as they've been here from Dark Ripper. Great denial early on, lovely to watch. That Zeus, the T1 attack bomber there for Dark Ripper, landed taking some interceptor fire. They get some slight revenge, but nothing to go shouting about in the halls of Valhalla. One lonely T1 bomber for Turinturamber harassing the southerly most land factory, but that's going to get shot down. Did the chariot make it back to base? Yes, it did. That is the one we saw over in the eastern edge of the map a moment ago. Down on 132 hit points, it looked like. But only now are we seeing engineers brought into play on that western leaf for Dark Ripper. And it's not surprising. He's been pretty much everywhere trying to secure this over here, trying to deny the securing of this for Turinturamber on the western approach. And he's been successful on all fronts, so he's only just got his engineers into play now, and he's still too busy to order or issue them with commands. Transport away. I'm sure the NGs will go to work, and there are the construction orders laid out, and we've got a few naval yards online as well, 2 of them to be precise, for Dark Ripper in the south, in that little bay area at the bottom there, on the inside of the Locket. That is, of course, an option for this map. You can decide to build on the inside or outside. I'd say the inside offers you a little bit more freedom if you can manage to control it in terms of where you can attack. You can hit anywhere in a shorter space of time. But it looks like he might go uncontested. No naval yards as yet, although he could just be about to throw one up. NG's heading out that way. Well, no, you don't want a reclaim order at the moment. That attack move on the cliff edge there to scoop up some of those chunky rocks. Dark Ripper still in the lead on eco, 49 to 47. That did briefly flash up in the high 50s, low 60s, and then it pops back there. I wonder if that's a power issue he's suffering from, or if it's reclaim related. So another group of engineers land, this time on the far edge of the western approach. And they're going to throw down a PD straight away. Has Dark Ripper discovered it? Yes, he has. But he's going to need to bring some artillery with him, or some kind of air-to-ground firepower if he's going to deal with that T1 PD. Mantis are going to struggle on their own. Radar online as well. Intel now flowing into the cyberspace of Turinturamber's intelligence networks. And still, absolutely no intervention into the naval game for Turinturamber. It's like he's like, you know what? I'm Aeon. It's fine. I'll do my floaty, naughty, and hope that can combat the walky, naughty of the Cybrans. Generally, a lot of naughtiness all round. But in terms of map control, if you take a look at how things are situated at present, it seems like Dark Ripper is in a slightly stronger position, although Turinturamber has air dominance on this side of the map and is engaging this horde of units with bombers. And not only that, he's hoofed it on foot with the ACU onto this leaf and is starting work on some land factories up there. Meanwhile, back to the main base of Turinturamber, that's now under pressure from the first T1 naval units that spat out by Dark Ripper's naval facilities a moment ago. A couple of engineers for Turinturamber trying to get some torpedo launchers online. That didn't work out too well, and that will be a comfortable denial of Navy for Dark Ripper, who, remember, is a good 300 ranking points behind Turinturamber. So definitely not the favourite, but playing as if he was, I think it's fair to say. Another air entanglement over in the west. And again, I think that's going to go better for Turinturamber, who of course will have the benefit of superior air units over the course of this game. So that's an advantage he'll want to maintain and ultimately make the most use of. So we did see some land factories queued up initially in the middle for Dark Ripper over there. They've subsequently gone. This little incursion has changed everything on this side of the map. Turinturamber up here with his commander as well, setting up shop nicely. So what was a disastrous early drop from him has actually not turned out too badly. Meanwhile, over on the east, Dark Ripper firmly in command there. The midpoint no man's land jostling backwards and forwards on this causeway here. But of course, as this progresses, you would imagine we'd be seeing T2 Navy at some point soon. There's the upgrade. We're at 45% there, and as soon as we start getting some destroyers and cruisers in play, it's going to be very hard to funnel any troops down these causeways. So major coup for Dark Ripper, establishing early navy in this one and denying Turinturamber the chance to get set up in the center. I'm wondering if Turinturamber will try and set up on the outside of the Locket and harass from the other side. It'd be perfectly plausible, of course, to do so and engage all of these units on each side. Could lead to a real bogged down stalemate. Dark Ripper doing his best to dislodge Turinturamber from the western leaf of the Locket. And being out-microed quite severely in the air game. Interceptors just not wanting to get involved there for a while, taking many more casualties than they needed to. On the eastern approach, Turinturamber caught up once again. Of course, this kind of combat will favour the Cybrins. Not a lot of room to manoeuvre for the Aeon to make use of their ranged advantage on those Auroras, and as such, easier for the more heavily armoured and more heavily endowed in terms of firepower weapons of the Cybrin T1 tank, or assault bot I should say. But I'm very surprised Dark Ripper has allowed this. He didn't station any units here to deal with that. I'm wondering if he was driven off by the Oblivion turret near the beach there. But there's now a T2 torpedo launcher in the Bay Area, 2 T1 naval yards, and suddenly we have a game here where it didn't look like we had one before. Although, minor inconvenience heading their way in the form of a Siren that can sit out of range of that torpedo launcher and just start killing off the build capacity and the factories themselves, while of course making it more and more difficult for Turinturamber to operate in the air around his main base. T1 bombers now harassing the front line of Dark Ripper in the east. A lot of ground being given. We're starting to see more T2 units in the mix as well for Turinturamber. Those blazes rolling forward. Do we have any T2 units heading in? Yes, we do. For Dark Ripper, those rhinos getting to the front of the pack. Units all lined up nicely in formation to unleash maximum amounts of damage as Turinturamber files in single file. However, they're taking damage from the T1 bombers of Turinturamber. Normally be a huge threat, but right now It's causing no end of problems. Meanwhile, back to the Bay Area. One naval factory has been destroyed for Turinturamber, and the others look under threat. The T2 torpedo launcher has also been taken out. Question is, can Dark Ripper keep that cruiser alive as the Auroras come in after it? Well, he backs up. He should be able to pick them off at range now, although there's a lot more tanks heading into the water there. But Turinturamber on the offensive with the commander, unupgraded so far and with just 18 kills. No stars on it yet. 2 more T1 units, though, will bring him his first rank of veterancy. But he's well and truly dislodged Dark Ripper from this leaf. However, Dark Ripper a good 20 or so mass points ahead of Turinturamber at this rate. Where's Dark Ripper's commander these days? Let's have a look at what he's doing. Well, he's just chilling down here, making sure he doesn't get caught by any cheeky air snipes. So no commander advantage on the front line for Dark Ripper. Turinturamber has actually backed off with his comm as well. It's getting to that kind of point in the game where the technology level of both these players is increasing, and it gets more and more dangerous to put your commander in harm's way. In comes some inties to the left edge of the map there, as well as a drop for Dark Ripper, escorting that skyhook in with just 6 Mantis or so, I think major. There are now lots and lots of defensive emplacements online down here. T2 Oblivion turrets, and now T1 Eruptors going up as well. And there's a lot of flak in there from the Ascendants. So rather than continue to harass the base with his superior navy, Dark Ripper has moved in to the western edge. And in come some skimmers and torpedo bombers going after that cruiser, suiciding in the process, but I think they're going to snag him. There he goes. There is another, or there are another couple of cruisers in that pack, and another one coming to reinforce as well. You've got to think that maybe some Salems would be good right now. Invaluable to clear everything out and then just sprout legs and go walkie-walkies. Meanwhile, on the eastern approach, Turinturamber halts another assault. Been very little movement really on this side of the map. The battle has been raging from around here to here, with it never looking like a breach happening in either direction. All of the action has been on this side of the map. Also want to feel a bit more comfortable with some destroyers now that we're starting to see more naval units appear for Turinturamber. Another siren down. It's a costly tactic, going after cruisers with torpedo bombers, but sometimes when it's all you've got. And now we're starting to see the odd Salem arrive, or just one of them at the time being. It's taking a lot of fire from these Auroras that are pushing in from the west. Turinturamber looking to overwhelm at every opportunity from the land. to counter the sea advantage, the naval advantage that Dark Ripper has bagged himself. And would you look at the ecos, they are now pretty much level. Very, very close indeed. Turinturamber has an edge on power. Of course, he's going to be prioritizing airplay a little bit heavier, you would expect. And I don't like the look of this for Dark Ripper. There's a lot of obsidian tanks in there. They really are some of the meatiest units in the game. If they were a kebab, they would be the lamb doner. That shield deflecting huge amounts of fire, and that huge alpha strike from that central turret driving Dark Ripper back. Emplacements have been destroyed back here, and there's not a huge lot waiting here either. I'm wondering if this could be the breakthrough we've been waiting for on the eastern approach. Obsidian's a little bit slower than the Blazes, so this formation beginning to spread out now as it approaches the eastern edge of the map. It's not good for the health of the Blazes. A couple more rhinos left, and that will be the end of that entire division. And Turinturamber, with the destruction of those mexes, has overtaken Dark Ripper in eco, and then of course drops beneath it as the curse comes into effect once again. Dark Ripper has responded to this pressure by moving back into the bay area and working once again to try and destroy these naval yards of Turinturamber. So it can get in here, it can cause untold damage on the main base. And they're pretty sensitive buildings within reach, such as that T2 P-Gen. Meanwhile, the eastern approach is under assault, and we have a T2 land factory headquarters that Dark Ripper won't want to lose, and I think he's going to. Kaboom! Engineers were trying to get some defenses online, but they were just got slaughtered by the Blazes and Obsidians, although most of the Blazes now have been destroyed. We're down to the heavier, slower units that were at the back of the pile. And this is not looking great right now for Dark Ripper. He's been shooed completely off this leaf over here. Lots of fortifications going up. More naval yards under construction, or sorry, completed over on this side of the map. Lots of units pouring into the center. He has to make something happen in the middle. That Siren Cruiser in the center down to just literally a handful of hit points. Would love to keep it online if he can. 74 hit points, regenerating about 10 hit points a second. And there went the T2 P-Gen. Can kill off some of these land factories. Could still be quids in, but the major construction facilities in the east have been eliminated by Turinturamber. Secondary lines of defense going up further back. It's astonishing how Dark Ripper, after that start, has been driven backwards in this one. Dark Ripper still just ahead slightly on eco, but there's so little in it now, it's barely worth mentioning. And now, with the unit numbers significantly thinned out, these Salems are open to amphibious mode. And this could be nasty. This could be very nasty indeed. Central power structures for Turinturamber under long-range assault. That shield, it's got another 10-15 seconds left in it before it buckles. Mass further production underway, trying to counter the Salems. Down goes the shield gen, down goes the power gen. And the shield might... no, it's not going to make it. Thought it might blink back on and save the other one just in time. What's that done to Turinturamber's power? Well, it's nailed it. And there goes the mass production with it. Major issues there. Has managed to get a couple of P-gens online further back, but these Salems are causing all sorts of problems. And for all the units that were pouring into the middle over here, the reinforcing naval units are doing a pretty nice job of tidying them up, and the units that blew through Dark Ripper's eastern outpost have been withdrawn to counter the assault on the main base. Now, one or two of the Salems withdrawing. In comes a wave of skimmers going after that one in the center. Two more left at the coastline. There goes another one, just one remaining, and the torpedo bombers will make short work of that, I'm pretty sure. In comes some interceptors to try and penalize Turinturamber for his efforts. They're going to bag a few of them. That's a 5-star destroyer as well. He'd love to save it if he can, but I think it's doubtful. There it goes. So great defense there from Turinturamber. Good work on the assault from Dark Ripper, because it stalled the attack in the east. And it's actually allowed him to maybe make progress over in the west now, if he can kill off these naval yards. Wants to switch up focus maybe to the engineers, slow down the repair. It's tanking that fire very nicely indeed. How long is it going to last? A couple of engineers go down. Surely that's going to be it. There it goes. Now, once again, more units funneling over the causeway in the east. Mostly T1, though. It's all those fervors that were mass-produced to counter the Salems at the beach. But there's not a lot going on here except for T1 PD. So actually, that could work quite well if you can move on it quickly enough, assuming the naval units don't come in. But what have we got here? We've got a TAC missile barrage moving from one leaf to the other, going straight after the land factories over here. This will be a better shot if he can take that out. That's the T3 land headquarters there for Dark Ripper. And now he's going after the mass points as well. This is a lovely little play. Those two TAC missile launchers are going to cause untold damage, untold amounts of damage. If he can take out all of the mass extractors in reach, and there they go, that's 4 of them down, and that actually puts Turinturamber ahead in terms of eco. Very nicely done indeed. That is a crippling blow, not just to the economy, but also to your opponent's morale when that kind of thing happens. Dark Ripper now in the center with his commander. Needs to get some kind of tactical missile defense online on this bottom leaf, which is what he's doing. The Zapper's under construction there. But the units, the naval units, making it into play to attack the western edge of the map now. Turinturamber setting up shop. Lots of mass to be scooped here, of course, from the remnants of Dark Ripper's old base. But for all the jostling, not a lot of daylight between these two in terms of actual eco. Turinturamber would be a lot higher if he could get his power situation sorted out. There you go, 127, that's more like it. Now, positioning is everything when you've lost the naval initiative with your bases. You can see it working quite well for them there. Dark Ripper can move his boats further down here. Might be able to clear that cliff edge and get some more of that naval fire onto the important structures. What's going on over here? So we have a T3 land unit sneaking around the map there from Turinturamber on board that chariot. Where's he headed? A couple more of them hoofing it out on foot. And another one's actually already made landfall. I missed that. Right in the jingly janglies of Dark Ripper's base. The sensitive parts other beers can't reach. No problem here for this Harbinger. It's clearly a Danish Harbinger. What is that? Is that Heineken or Carlsberg? No, Carlsberg is probably the best Harbinger in the world. So is it Heineken? I don't know. So it's either German or Danish. All we know is it's not British. Nothing sensitive or refreshing about British beer. Oh! Cue criticism from a torrent of northern subscribers. What do I know about beer anyway? I drink wine. I don't know very much more about that, except it's best when you drink it at a bottle at a time. More TAC missiles inbound. What are they going after now? It looks like it might be the T3 land factory, but they'll need more missiles than that. No, they won't! What on earth? I was certain they'd be able to tank a couple of TAC missiles. Evidently have that wrong, and that's crippling when you think he's trying to defend now against Harbinger drops. Turinturamber just bullying Dark Ripper now. And another drop, this time in an even more sensitive place. If you thought the jingly janglies were sensitive, we are now dropping Harbingers directly to the prostate. Now, how many mass options can he take out before he dies a horrible death? Gunships now being brought to bear as he's run out of options on the ground, and Dark Ripper down to 85 mass per tick, and he's doing pretty well over on the western leaf as well, countering all this. That ground attack is about to get snuffed out by a column of Harbingers heading that way, but it's still the Siren cruisers are gonna cause a few problems there for Turinturamber. But down to 46 mass per tick. Is that bottlenecking on power? Yes, it is. Lost a look at all the redundant mass points there, 6 of them. And he's still going. 44 kills on board that Harbinger. A lot of them will be T1 P-gens there that were never reclaimed. And that's actually the T3 headquarters. And now we've got Alumna's, the T2 Aeon transports loading up with Harbingers. And it's just poor intel, I think, that's allowed these to get through, because Dark Ripper has lots of T1 interceptors, but we've got a little bit of pressure coming up the eastern approach now, and we've also had a little bit more action in the Bay Area as well. Unfortunately, these are loyalists and not bricks. Otherwise, this would be a definite loss over here. Turinturamber countering nicely with Harbingers. If he can take out the T3 land headquarters over here, that will stem the tide of Harbingers in the defensive perimeter. But now we're going to see some major problems for Dark Ripper as he's facing drops from T2 transports laden with Harbingers. And in come the swift winds to try and deal with the gunships. Want to keep a wide berth around those cruisers, though. They won't last long against firepower of that magnitude. And the attack peters out, regrettably. Not that I'm ever cheering for a Cybran, but I sort of am here because I'm enjoying this game immensely and I just don't want it to stop. Dark Ripper needs a win somewhere because it's not looking great, and it's going to look even worse when these harbs land. He's just got a handle on his power situation. No, he still hasn't, excuse me, and it's about to get even worse now that these two Harbingers have turned up. And he's really far behind now. Double the eco, more than with the power issue. Core mass being destroyed. And this whole base in the center now is essentially looking like it's on the way out. And still not looking like he's going to break through up here. I hate to say it. I hate to say it, but I think this game looks like it's going in one direction only at this point. Dark Ripper forced to pull his commander out and try and deal with the Harbingers. The question is, he got the power to overcharge? No, he doesn't. So he's going to have to do it with the gun. He hasn't got an upgrade or anything. He's got the stealth upgrade. Let's see how much attention Turinturamber is applying to this portion of the map as Dark Ripper turns up with his ACU. And in view for a moment there, they start nailing Dark Ripper's commander. 7,000 hit points left, both of them engaging him now. That stealth not affording him any protection at all. Out comes the GGs, and that is GG. Very well played indeed. When you consider the start that Dark Ripper had, that is pretty insane. It has to be said. Great comeback from Turinturamber. Commiserations to Dark Ripper. You played a great game as well, but you just couldn't get back in it. Couldn't make the plays in the naval game work up here. And despite fighting back so nicely, it was those drops that finally sealed it. It was actually the TAC missile launcher over here as well, which started all that off, softened everything up, and then allowed the transports to get in and make those crucial drops, which just ended it in disaster for the Cybrans. But well done to all involved there. Very entertaining. I hope you guys agree. As always, more to come from me in the future. Don't forget to like, guys, because it helps the circulation. And of course, if you feel so inclined, you can support me on Patreon. Details below this and each and every one of my videos how to do that. And of course, how to submit replays. Lots of people asking me how to do that. And you guys, well, the information is in the video description, guys. So check it out. That's enough from me. Until next time, guys, stay well and stay safe. This is Guile, signing out.